Hello Aries, welcome to Monarch Intuition, and today I'm going to be doing your Grand Occult reading for 2023. So if you're new to my channel, what I like to do is I like to pull one major arcana to see the energy and then clarify with a different deck. Now, it's kind of funny because I actually did your intro like 4 or 5 times. I kept messing it up, and I noticed that in all the intros I kept saying Taurus. And I always start Aries and go all the way down to Pisces, so I feel like that's significant for you. I never start with Taurus. I know that for a fact. So that's something that might be, coming up within the future year for you, is dealing with the Taurus or dealing with Taurus energy. Remember, Taurus rules the Hierophant, and it's also ruled by the Empress card. So what do we need to know for Aries? One major arcana for you. Once again, these are going to be Grand Occult readings, so this is going to be delving into, not love, not, just general things. This is going to be going kind of deep for you. So we had the Devil coming out. So here's the thing about the Devil card. Doesn't always have to be bad, but this is really important because it represents addictions right here, and it represents being chained to something. So I kind of feel like within 2023, it's going to be about you turning down things that seem promising for you, but at the end of the day, you have to see the bigger picture. Why does it want you to be chained to that situation? So you might have a lot of contracts coming up, right? This could be the concept of you're going house shopping or car shopping or anything like that, and people are trying to sell you something. People are wanting you to be chained to something right here. But with the Devil energy, it can also be a representation of temptations being offered to you. Remember, like in the 3 trials of Jesus, right? So with this Devil energy, I would say be very careful. You don't want to be bound to anything right here that could be potentially negative in the future. Remember, as long as you're paying the Devil off, as long as you're paying the Devil off, the Devil doesn't have a problem with you. It's the moment you stop paying the Devil, okay? So, when you stop paying for a house, when you stop paying for a car loan, what happens? It gets repossessed. So this is very important for you for 2023. And when I look at the Devil, remember, it's a perversity of the Lover's energy. Remember, Adam and Eve are on the Lover's card, which is Geminian, right? And they're being blessed by the angel. And then, remember, the Devil is a fallen angel. So it has Adam and Eve chained by their necks to this podium. So that could be very significant for you, is that maybe you're looking at something from a negative point of view. Or maybe you're looking through something with rose-colored glasses on. I'm going to clarify this energy in a second, but looking at things with rose-colored glasses, is it good for you? Does it make you happy? Do you feel chained, bound to something? Do you feel like within 2023 the Devil is going to have a reemergence on like a grand scale? Because remember, on the Grand Occult readings, we have to look at the major energies as more what's happening within the world, okay? And not so much what's going on within our day-to-day lives. So the Devil could have an emergence right here, trying to chain people to something. Remember, when we look at the book of Revelation, the Devil can get someone in 3 different ways. He can get you with a mark, he can get you with his name, or he can get you with the number of the beast, right? So there are 3 ways that the Devil can trick you into something, which is representation of the 3 trials of Jesus, right? So this is very significant, possibly for the world or possibly within your life, trying to get you into something that maybe you don't see the negative consequences. Remember, a lot of people think that the Devil's just going to show up and be like, take 666 on your hand, and it's not going to be like that. It's going to be a name, a mark, or the number. All right, so let's look at this Devil energy. What's going on for you, Aries? And that's very important when reading the Bible. You have to understand where the commas are, where it separates or, and, when, and if, okay? And so that could be something that is very important for you, is always read the contracts more thoroughly, or read the contracts of what you're signing up for, or for an agreement. Remember, those DNA tests that people take, they take your DNA and they're filed away. And so they can always have your DNA on file whenever you're doing anything, right? Whenever you're trying to, like say someone commits a crime, they can pull up your DNA file from that. And that's in the contract. It states that explicitly. So you have to go over things with the fine-tooth comb. And if it doesn't feel right, or if you're like, well, that doesn't, have a period right there, it has a comma, you need to bring that up. All right, and because that's the whole point of the contract, is that every contract has a loophole behind it, especially a contract with the devil. That's why, you know, the whole point of the devil is to mock humanity. They go to him for help, and what does he do? He gives them a idea of help, a false illumination of help, just to Five of Swords them in the end, which is like laugh at them and mock them while they're walking away. So, what's going on with the devil energy? We have the Ten of Cups, we have the World card, and we have the Death card in reverse. So the Ten of Cups over the World represents, you know, a significant change, something that's going to be very happy, but at the same time we have the Death card in reverse. It's kind of like you've been over this carousel before, you've been on this for a while. And I kind of feel like in a way you want off, but it's going to restart again. Something that makes people happy, something that could potentially not make you happy, it keeps going around in an eternal loop. You think that it's almost done and it doesn't end. This is the song that doesn't end. I don't know if you've ever heard that. It was on Lamb Chop a long time ago. But it's like, this is the song that never ends. It goes on and on, my friends. Some people started singing it, not knowing what it was, and they'll continue singing it forever just because it is the song that doesn't end. That's what I'm saying for you, is that there is a loop, an illusion of something, and you have to break that cycle with the devil energy, or you're going to continue to keep going around in a cycle, or something that you think is done is having a re-emergence. Let's look at this Ten of Cups energy. I'm going to be using the Vampire Tarot. I might switch it out and go with a more traditional style. Yeah, I think that would actually be better. Let's use the Rider-Waite Tarot deck. That card wants to come out, we'll take it. The Six of Pentacles and the Ten of Wands. Something's being offered to you that can alleviate the burden right here. That can also make you very happy. But it does come at a price, a steep price with the devil, because remember, this is the overarching theme for the reading. Let me clarify the devil really quickly. Is this in your head or is this actually happening? Because remember, you can have paranoia about the devil, and it could actually be something very good for you. So, what's going on with this devil energy? Remember, angels are scary. And you might assume that an angel could be the devil because they always show up saying, be not afraid, right? Because they have to. Because they are terrifying to look at. So what do we need to know about this devil energy? The Judgment. One more card. The Death. The Judgment and the Death. Oh. This is a big deal. So this does have devil energy attached to it. Alright, so Aries, here's the thing. You're going to be offered something right here that is part of the devil. That is connected directly to something that is very toxic for you. And you have to understand, remember, Judgment represents calling people out of the graves into the rapture. And Death represents people who are dead or situations that have died. So the Judgment is calling these situations back to be judged, right? Remember, justice delivers a judgment. And judgment is to call people to the rapture, the dead in Christ rise first. Because remember, tarot is extremely biblical. You have to know the Bible. You have to know the Torah. You don't really have to understand Islam. It's good if you know at least like the key elements of it. It's also good to know like Chinese mysticism and some Indian mysticism, Indian mythologies, because that is very tied into the tarot as well. Remember, tarot is a form of cryptography, right? So when we look at, say, music is a form of cryptography. And cryptography is all of these concepts combined into one thing, and if you can understand the rules and the over layers of everything, you can kind of loop it all together, right? And so if I know this form of cryptography, it's going to make sense to you if you know this form of cryptography. That's why music is so important, because I can write something, and as long as you know what I'm writing, I can hand it off to you, right? So this is a very cryptographic message right here. the devil's over the world because the world is in the center. So the devil does rule the world, like in the Bible it says that. But here's the thing, judgment is coming with the death. So you could experience a multitude of deaths happen simultaneously, because people are dying really fast right now. And I kind of feel like it's coming off in a way that people are accepting something, taking something, getting something, a code, a mark, a name, things of that nature, but your goal is to walk away from something right here because judgment is bringing the death. What do we need to know about this world energy? Where's the... There it is. And once again, we have the death upright and we have the death in reverse. The world, the wheel of fortune, and the Hierophant. The world will keep on turning. And the Hierophant is here with the Pope energy. I kind of feel like the Pope is coming out, or some sort of religious figure, something is coming out and speaking something, that this is part of life, this is just how life is, and I don't feel that's the case. I feel like people are trying to get you involved in something that's very dangerous. For example, I'm going to talk about this, and it's going to kind of offend some people, but like, you know, in the gay community, it's always about like, oh, live your best life, you know, do what makes you feel good, live your truth, right? But here's the problem with that. The people who say that to you are the biggest fucking predators alive. You should know that when you go to a club, when you, and this applies to straight people too, when you go to a club, when you do these types of things, there are people who want to hurt you. People who will drug your drink. People who will, you know, forcefully have sex with you. People who will, you know, kill you and drop your body in a dumpster kind of thing. I would say right here, this is a very crucial point. Don't just listen to live your best life, do what you want, because that's how a lot of people died. All right, that's how a lot of people got, you know, HIV/AIDS in the 80s and died. That's how people are still dying. That's how people are still getting, you know, addicted to drugs, because people see this limelight when they turn 18. They're like, I can go to the clubs, maybe 19. I can do this thing. I can live my truth. And you have all these older people, you know, 30s, 40s, they look good, they're all buff, they're really attractive, whatever, just lurking to ruin you, to destroy that light that you have inside of you, all right? And that's something that people need to understand, is that if you have even a light, and I'm not even talking about like a spiritual light, I'm just talking about if you're pure and, you know, you're naive to a situation, you have like foolish energy, people are going to destroy that any chance that they can get. So be careful about that, Aries, right here. But the Hierophant is here to say, oh, everything's okay, the world's going to keep on turning, you know, live your truth, everything's fine. But that, you know, that's something that's very important. Now, as someone who does, who grew up in the Catholic faith and has, you know, a Christian background, the Pope does represent, you know, purity and light. It does represent being blessed by God, but at the same time, you have to understand that some of the popes were actually connected to the devil. Some people were very scared of certain popes. And when we look at, say, you know, in the early witch trials, a lot of the popes didn't kill witches. They sent them down to Sicily in the Valley of the Devil, right? Where they used the witches as their own personal doctors, their own personal tutors and mentors. That's the very interesting part of the witch trials that people don't tell you, which is why the Black Plague spread throughout Europe so quickly, and it had no doctors. So what's going on with this death energy? What do we need to know right here? We have the Strength card coming out with the Four of Cups. Yeah, you need to like resist temptation right here. You have to be very strong. Remember, the Strength card, the angel's holding the mouth of the lion, the devil is as a roaring lion seeking whom he may devour, and it's being offered to you. But you have to have strength. I kind of feel like, in a way, you intuitively know right here something is off with this cup that's being offered to you, because you want to get off this eternal loop. You want off whatever is being shoved down your throat, whatever is going around in a circle, because you can kind of see the judgment and the death. Like, you see things happening, right? You know intuitively, hey, that's not right. But they still keep trying to say, live your truth. Oh, do this, do that. You know, if you want to live in this type of world. But here's the thing. Utopia is not going to happen, all right? A lot of people are obsessed with the idea of utopia, like John Lennon's Imagine, but that's not going to happen. And the concept is, of or it's the definition of insanity. They think that utopia is going to happen again, but it's not. They say, well, we have technology, we have the things that are going to make utopia happen on this world. It's not going to fucking happen, Aries. So don't get involved with that. You have the Eight of Wands coming in fast, a fight with the Five of Wands, and the Sunlight, or the Sun card coming out. If you rise above this energy, if you can see it, you'll be much happier. Because what's coming in is a fight. You need to look past the psychopathic smile that people are offering you, this narcissistic energy, because you have to understand, when you break down people's walls, when you tell someone no, you will see their smile crack and how evil they can get really quickly. And that's the illumination that I think that you're missing, Aries, is that's what you need to see. You need to be able to see the psychopathic stare, the psychopathic smile in people, you know, that evil energy. It's almost like when you turn it down, immediately it goes into conflict. Well, you can't be one of us. Well, you're just gonna, you know, you're a bigot, you're this, you're that, you're, you know, a prude because you won't, you know, sleep with 25 people in an orgy. That's what you need to be listening to, Aries. You need to see the devil in the details. What are they, one, trying to get you to do? Test it and say no, and then see how quickly they get angry. And then, when you see their anger from the Five of Wands, then you are illuminated to what's important right here. If you just tell people flat out no, the first time, even if you agree with them, say, I don't agree with that, see how mad they get. All right? And I'm not saying to, you know, I'm not saying to provoke these people to anger. I'm just saying, you know, differences of opinion matter right here. Even if you agree with something, just say no at first. You have the Page of Wands, you have the Four of Wands, and you have the Sword. Yeah, because here's the thing. You have the victory regardless. You know what's right. You have the Sword of Truth. The sword that comes out of God's mouth is the Ace of Swords, right? And with this Page of Wands, it's initiation into some sort of celebration or some sort of sect right here. You have what you need to beat these other 5 pages in the Page of Wands, or in the Five of Wands, right? The Five of Wands represents 5 people who are fighting. In a way, they want you to pick up your wand and continue to fight with them. But here's the thing. Don't enjoy this celebration. Use your own intellect and knowledge to move forward, all right? Let me clarify that with one more card. I know what I'm trying to say, but like I'm kind of getting tongue-tied. You have the Two of Swords coming out. Yeah, just say no first off and foremost. So that way you get a better picture of something. People want you to get involved in the Five of Wands. They see you as another page. They see you as an initiate, someone who will fight a battle. But here's the thing. If you say no, if you are blocked off to the situation, you'll see their face. You'll see their mask come off. You'll see that aggression. And then you'll have the Ace of Swords. You'll have the truth. You'll have the victory. I feel like you need to come from a place of being like kind of passive right here, but here's the thing, don't be lukewarm about a situation. Already know what your opinion is and what your choice is, but just say no. Just don't go with the status quo right here, Aries, and see what their opinions are, okay? You have the Chariot that represents the victory for you. That's how you overcome these situations, is by first saying, I'm good. No, thank you. That doesn't appeal to me. That doesn't sound right. I'm not into that. And just see what happens. Let's clarify this death energy. We have the Empress. Yeah, death is coming on the Empress. Remember, the Empress represents, like, land. So the Emperor rules the Empress. All right, so kind of sounds sexist, whatever. The Emperor is kind of like the president, and then the Empress is the country. So death over the Empress. Death is coming to the Empress. Death is coming to a country en masse. So you need to be aware of that for yourself. The Knight of Cups and the Ace of Wands. What's coming for you is an emotionally new opportunity that I feel like you should take. The King of Wands, I feel like you're waiting for it. You're kind of like happy. But here's the thing, you have the Ten of Swords coming out. So here's the thing. I'm just going to flat out say it. You know, those passports that they were trying to push, like last year, oh, if you don't have the passport, you can't party with us. You can't sit with us. Well, a lot of those people who said that you couldn't sit with them, well, they're laying in coffins right now. Just understand that. And that's what's coming back again for you, Aries. So keep yourself safe. Just don't even engage. If you're like scared of, illness and whatever, just stay to yourself. Only go out when you have to. Do what you have to do, but don't accept, this idea of utopia. The ferret, observant, and hedgehog, disguise. Yeah, disguise your answer with some sort of falsity, but be observant to their reaction. Falsehood, not falsity. What the fuck? You have skull of light, illumination, and eternal love. Love is love is love and transcends physical death. You need to pay attention to your ancestors. If your ancestors said, hey, that looks like a spade, or if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, I'm getting my, whatever those, old sayings confused. If it walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, then it's probably a duck. Yeah. That's what your ancestors want you to know. Be illuminated to a situation. Serpents smile a lot. They always smile. So, be aware. You have direction, bat, and you have caution. You need to be very cautious about where you go right here. Be very cautious in your direction and where you want to move forward within your life, all right? If you have a brand new reset within your life, if you're starting to feel good, if, maybe you were feeling kind of bad with your health and now things are starting to go better and people are like, yeah, come and hang out with us, do it again. Like, be very cautious about where you choose to take your energy right here. So be aware of any opportunity that comes towards you, because it looks like a very great opportunity, but it's disguised as the Ten of Swords. That's what you need to be aware of right here, and that's what the devil energy is. You need to just say no during this year. The first thing, all right? Dream. Pay attention to your dreams. And blaze a trail. Move forward. I feel like you can do a lot of things yourself right here. I don't really think you need other people's help and other people's opinions. I think that you just need to do your best. So let me get you a couple of, what are these? Spellcasting oracle cards. You have confidence, move forward with confidence, and justice. Justice is taking place on a grand scale right here. The scales are being balanced out, whether people like it or not. Move forward with confidence. I feel like you're on the right end of the scale. Just don't get overconfident. Remember, pride comes before the fall. So you have Othela, home, inheritance, prosperity, responsibility, and family. The spiritual meaning is universal truths. Here's the thing. Let's talk about it real fast. Talked about it before, and I know people don't like it when I go off on my tangents about whatever, right? But a lot of people have older parents, right? And, a lot of people's parents are dying because of what's been going on in the world. Well, now that inheritance is passed over to them. Well, if you did the same thing, you're gambling with your life, all right? This is the greatest exchange of wealth that's happening. And that's why they want you to accept things and be chained to the devil, so that way they can judge you and kill you. And here's the thing, let's look at it from the California perspective. Fauci ruled over the AIDS project, and he also ruled over this new project that's going on, right? That was the biggest exchange of wealth that there was in a long time. So when we look at, say, California, the AIDS thing that happened there, a lot of gay people moved to San Francisco because, it was a gay haven. Originally, it was a really shitty place to live. But the gays spruced it up. They made it look really nice, and people liked living there. And, commerce was bustling. They had nice homes. They had their own hospitals, whatever. Then AIDS hit, and people had to sell their property at a fraction of the value because they wanted to take care of their partners. So the houses may have been worth, $100,000, but they were selling them for $25,000 because they needed to pay for X, Y, and Z, hospital bills. And now those same houses are 10, $15, $20 million. That's why you should not trust the idea of utopia, because if you can't afford to live in utopia, if you're not at the top, if you're not in their idea of Darwinism, then you're not going to live there. The end. So if you want to keep your inheritance, you want to stay safe, then stay safe and keep your inheritance. We have Rado, speed your journey, ease the transition, aid communication, bring good news, and find your spiritual way. So anyway, Aries, I hope you enjoyed this Grand Occult reading, and I will talk to you later.